Tonight on CTV News, provincial government workers issue strike notice.
Civil servants keep British Columbians safe, and they help drive the engine of our economy.
Job action could begin as early as Tuesday. What services could be impacted and what the province is saying.
It could be you, it could be your friends, it could be your family.
Deadly danger in the water. The surge in drownings in BC in recent weeks, why many could have been prevented.
The numbers of layoffs we're seeing in the post-secondary sector aren't just abstract numbers, they're real people's livelihoods.
BC's colleges and universities call it a crisis, mounting layoffs and program cuts as foreign student numbers plunge.
This is CTV News with me, Jung Lee.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Breaking news ahead of the Labor Day weekend. BC's public servants are flexing their labor muscle. The BC GEU has issued 72-hour strike notice, and it's not the only union ready for job action. CTV's Martin McMahon is following the story. He joins us live from the BC GEU office in Burnaby. Martin, an overwhelming show of support from the union's members for this strike vote.
Mijung, 92.7% of these BC GEU members have authorized their union to go ahead with the strike if they see fit. And at the core of all of this is what they're calling an affordability crisis for their lowest paid members. Wildland firefighters are among those the BC GEU suggests are an underpaid group, making an average of $28 an hour for a job that comes with incredible risks. But it goes beyond that, with 34,000 members in a range of areas from social work to jobs in government liquor stores.
This emphatic strike result reflects the seriousness of the affordability crisis that our members are facing and the need for fair wages to address that crisis. Our members' message to government is clear. We are united, and we're ready to take job action.
Employees have the right to take a strike vote. They have the right to go on strike. But at the end of the day, agreements are achieved at the bargaining table, and that's where we expect the agreements to be negotiated, is at the bargaining table.
The BC GEU is being joined by the Professional Employees Association, with its members also voting to strike. This includes engineers, psychologists, and geoscientists.
Wages in the public service have fallen so far behind that the government can't recruit and retain the experts it needs. We've all seen what happens when the government chooses the wrong approach.
Job action could come as soon as Tuesday, bringing back memories of the 2022 strike, which involved BC GEU members working for the BC Liquor Distribution Branch, although the union is backing off comparisons to that situation.
When it comes to the liquor distribution system, all I will say about that is that this job action, if we have to take job action, government doesn't come to the table, will not be exactly like it was last round. I'll just leave it at that.
Let's talk about some of the particulars here. The BC GEU is looking for a 2-year deal. It wants a 4% increase in the first year and then a 4.25% salary increase in the second year of that deal. The government, however, in talks so far, according to the union, has only offered less than half of that. So it would appear that the sides are fairly far apart at this point. Mijung?
Martin McMahon reporting live tonight. A violent repeat offender has been arrested again in Vancouver. This time he's charged with assaulting a peace officer. Transit police say 30-year-old Shaquan Kelly struck an officer in the face after he was confronted for open drug use outside Waterfront Station on Wednesday. Kelly was designated a high-risk violent offender in 2024 after a string of stranger assaults, including punching a woman on a bus in 2022. Just weeks earlier, he was arrested and charged after a mother and toddler were knocked down in Chinatown. The transit police officer who was attacked this week suffered minor injuries and was treated in hospital. Kelly remains in custody pending a bail hearing on Thursday. The Labor Day long weekend rush has begun across the Lower Mainland as locals and travelers return home. CTV's Craig Krause is at YVR, which, along with ferry terminals, is seeing a surge in passengers. Craig?
Me, Jung, we're here inside of YVR, where the airport is estimating hundreds of thousands of people to come and go over the next several days. And they're also expecting 92,000 people just today, which will be the peak.
Right now, we're operating to schedule here at YVR. No indications from any of our airline or agency partners that they're anticipating anything for this weekend.
A good sign after weeks that saw cancellations, delays, and other issues brought on by the Air Canada flight attendant strike and NAV Canada staffing shortages. Monday is expected to see 91,000 travelers, the second busiest day, as kids prepare to go back to school and travelers return home.
I'm heading to Edmonton. Yeah, well, actually Drayton Valley.
We are going to Rome, Italy.
It was a similar story over at BC Ferries.
We're heading over to Parksville.
Swarms of island residents and travelers looking to sneak in one last summer trip flooded the BC Ferries terminal on Friday, a weekend that the service says will see an additional 30% vehicle traffic and 50% more passengers compared to a normal holiday weekend.
We're expecting to move really hundreds of thousands of people as we enter this final stretch of summer.
Friday, Sunday, and Monday all expected to garner the highest demand. And similar to that of the airport, staff are urging passengers to be prepared before arriving.
Easy and efficient, and I can't imagine traveling anywhere on the ferry these days if you don't have a reservation.
No. Don't have a reservation, but we're expecting to catch at 11:30, and we got here and he's like, you'll probably catch at 10:15. So, I mean, it's not bad right now.
And now with the weekend still ahead, both BC Ferries and the airport are hoping for smooth operations, but only time will tell. Mi Jung?
Thanks, Craig. Coming up later tonight on CTV News at 6, fed up with brazen jewelry thieves, a shop steps up its security, opting for a different type of deterrent, a system to smoke them out. Cooling down and trying to beat the heat may be top of mind for many this long weekend, but officials are sounding the alarm after several drownings throughout the province over the last month. As CTV's Dimitra Maragos reports, experts say tragedy can be prevented with simple precautions.
Another drowning death on BC's shorelines. Chilliwack RCMP says on Thursday, a 22-year-old man from Burnaby was visiting Cultus Lake with friends when he drowned. When first responders arrived on the scene, they did try life-saving measures, but were unsuccessful. This is one of several drownings in the province in the last few weeks, one even happening at Jericho Beach. As of August 23rd, the Life Saving Society in British Columbia and the Yukon has recorded 32 drownings this year.
It could be you, it could be your friends, it could be your family.
77% of those drownings were male.
We actually now say between the ages of 18 and 49. That is a huge age span for men who are taking risks around the water.
They say in their experience, drowning-related deaths are
always an accident, and it's always preventable.
They added while families head to the water this weekend to make sure their little ones have their undivided attention.
It's not just, looking at the water and then looking at my phone or taking a picture through my phone. Supervision is undistracted.
Adding that for children under 5, drowning is a leading cause of death.
That's a scary, huge stat.
Oftentimes people who are drowning or who do drown, they never intended to go into the water in the first place.
That's Dr. Brandon Yao with Vancouver Coastal Health. He says if you're thinking of letting loose this long weekend,
drugs and alcohol and swimming don't mix.
Think again, stating drugs and alcohol are involved in 40% of all drowning deaths in the province. Those at the Life Saving Society say it's important to see something and say something. However, at the end of the day,
everybody needs to take care and ownership of their own safety.
Dimitra Maragos, CTV News, Vancouver.
Police in Richmond are warning about scammers that have been targeting the city's Chinese-speaking community with fake job advertisements. Posters in simplified Chinese have been turning up on light posts around Metro Vancouver, advertising jobs such as house sitting and caregiving for the elderly. Investigators believe these posters may be used to solicit personal information, which could be used to identify potential scam targets. People looking for jobs are being advised to never share personal information without verifying the legitimacy of the employer. A big boost for Langley students with a new school and 2 new additions now open, bringing more than 900 new seats to the district. And officials say thousands more are on the way.
Families will be glad to know that in addition to the 900 spaces opening this fall here in Langley, that over 3,000 additional new student spaces will be under construction in the coming years to help meet demand.
In the Willoughby neighborhood, Josette Danderend Elementary is opening with 555 new seats, while Lynn Fripps Elementary added 150. In Langley City, a 200-seat expansion at Nikamekel Elementary is now complete. And in addition to the 900 seats opening this fall, 275 more seats open this year at Peter Ewart Middle School. Universities and colleges across the province are sounding the alarm as they deal with declining international student enrollment. As CTV's Isabella Zaffarisi reports, the concern is that the burden will fall on domestic students.
Post-secondary institutions are getting ready to welcome a new slate of students. But things will look a lot different this fall as colleges confront the consequences of budget cuts.
In general, it's the worst it's ever been.
Schools, including Vancouver Community College, are reeling from the fallout of the federal government's cap on international students.
We've been trying to squawk and squeak about this for 2 years, and we get very little response.
Just this year, VCC has had 3 rounds of layoffs. Dozens of faculty and administrative roles have been slashed at Langara, SFU, and Kwantlen.
We're going to see less connections with the community, less connections with industry, less partnerships, less money flowing into the institution, and less ability really to deliver the quality of education that we know that post-secondary in British Columbia should be providing.
At Kwantlen, international students pay nearly 4 times what domestic students pay.
And so every international student that doesn't come into the institution means there's less spots for Canadian students.
It's not only jobs. Entire programs no longer exist.
Students are paying more and getting less. So what I mean by that is there are fewer course options. Their students are having delayed graduations.
While UBC and SFU didn't provide figures, international student enrollment has declined at UVic since the caps were introduced. Those in the industry say this is a symptom of a bigger problem.
The provincial government has been not funding post-secondary properly for 25 years.
The province says it's working with institutions on strategies to manage costs and improve revenue. Those in higher education say if investments aren't made soon, there will be a ripple effect in our economy, with fewer people receiving the training they need. Isabella Zaffarisi, CTV News, Vancouver.
They've been a pillar of U.S. foreign policy since Donald Trump reclaimed the White House. But today, an appeals court ruled most of the president's tariffs are actually illegal. Mary Cranston is following this in the Breaking News Center. Mary?
Mijung, yes, a U.S. federal appeals court released a ruling late this afternoon saying Trump exceeded his authority by using emergency powers to impose sweeping tariffs earlier this year. The court upheld a lower court's decision saying Trump's tariffs on virtually all countries are illegal. However, they will be allowed to remain in place pending an expected appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. Trump's tariffs and the erratic way he's rolled them out have shaken global markets in recent months, alienated U.S. trading partners and allies, and raised fears of higher prices and slower economic growth. Today's decision complicates Trump's ambitions to upend decades of American trade policy completely on his own. Mijung.
Thank you, Mary. A near century-long duty exemption used by small businesses to ship low-cost items to the U.S. ended today. The Trump administration has officially dropped what was known as the de minimis exemption, leaving businesses to deal with the consequences. CTV's Jeremy Sharon reports.
In small businesses across the country, there is an unfortunate new reality.
I know that I'm going to see a decline in sales to the States.
Cal Green's Ottawa-based streetwear brand Raised by Wolves is no exception.
So we produce the apparel, they've done the shoes, and then
at least a quarter of his business comes through direct sale to American consumers or wholesalers. His product no longer exempt from duties when shipped south of the border, forcing him to make a difficult decision.
The duties, the tariffs, the brokerage fees, and the shipping is going to be included in the price for U.S. customers to be transparent. That's really all I can do at this point. As a small business, I can't afford to eat those costs.
Some of his products could still be exempt if he can prove they're CUSMA compliant, but like for thousands of other businesses, that will require more time and effort, which experts say won't always make sense.
If they want to go into the process of making sure that their goods are CUSMA compliant, that may not be worth the cost for many businesses.
It's a huge nightmare. Has been a really, really steep learning curve.
Last year, almost 1.4 billion packages entered America duty-free. Now, the new fees will vary based on a variety of factors, including the country of origin. But some businesses say they'll avoid it altogether.
To avoid confusion and conflicts with customers, I just suspended U.S. shipping for now.
Others hopeful to keep at least some of their longtime American customers.
I don't think there's as much anyone can do about it at this point, so I just want to keep moving forward and do the best I can.
At least 25 countries have opted to suspend U.S. shipping, citing a lack of clarity around enforcement. Canada Post says it'll work with a third party to collect and send the duties directly to U.S. Customs. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, Ottawa.
An algae bloom has exploded in Stanley Park's Lost Lagoon. How swampy it is now and what the park board's doing about it. And life after rehab, the concern about relapse for people trying to overcome addiction, what the province is doing to help people recover. When CTV News continues, stay with us. From the political arena to the water cooler, the toxic drug crisis and drug addiction are hotly debated issues, with everyone agreeing that more help should be available for people looking for a way out. But what happens after someone completes the difficult treatment process? In the final installment of her series, our Penny Daflos looks at what recovery really means.
Whether it's a home in the sky or one with a yard, most of us take for granted that we have a safe, clean place to call home. So imagine completing months of drug treatment with nowhere to go.
Recovery does not end when you are discharged from a treatment program. That is the most vulnerable place and time for many people.
That's why there's been an increasing emphasis on supportive housing with healthcare, social workers, art programs, and sometimes meals.
We're here really to help support our tenants kind of with their day-to-day and really with their goals. And that could be anything from appointment reminders to someone's goal to get back into the workforce.
That really is such a vital step that really can help either set them off in a continued strong trajectory or unfortunately reverse many of that progress.
Some require more supervision and even relearning life skills after years living on the street.
I was a heroin addict, a crystal meth user.
And are turning their lives around thanks to those programs.
I had a lot of struggles in my time, and I made it.
Whether poor and on their own or employed with family support, recovery is a lifelong challenge.
The simplification of saying, you know, hey, go to treatment, that'll change everything. Well, I mean, I got off drugs all the time. But what I couldn't get over was, you know, how I viewed myself as a person, and I needed some clinical counseling to get over that.
Guy Felicella now travels the world sharing his story overcoming drug addiction and living on Vancouver's downtown east side.
There's a lot of people down here that are trying.
And points out any one of us can lend a helping hand, whether it's with a job offer or a leg up for those in recovery.
There's a tremendous amount of shame that comes with that. And we don't need to be beating up on people when they're already beating up on themselves.
BC's healthcare system has changed to accept that relapse is likely.
We absolutely are building the system so that people are welcome to come back really as many times as it takes.
Recognition that substance use disorder is a chronically relapsing condition means there's far less zero-tolerance housing. While that's generated its own controversy, advocates point out holding someone to an impossible standard isn't helpful, particularly if they've gotten their lives back on track and could be derailed by losing their home. Penny Daflos, CTV News, Vancouver.
An algae bloom that began in late spring has visibly expanded to cover much of Stanley Park's Lost Lagoon. Last month, the Vancouver Park Board said there's no easy solution, calling it a major project that they're expected to start looking into in September. Algae blooms are natural occurrences and typically have a life cycle, with the plant matter dying and sinking to the bottom over time. Warm weather can impact their size and duration. And speaking of warm weather, pretty toasty at the PNE. That's where we find Anne, even warmer than yesterday, right, Anne?
Yes, that is right. This is the 7th day that record temperatures fell across the province. We're in the shade right here, right in front of the Freedom Mobile stage, because this is the first day of the Tattoos Festival, which is a celebration of Indigenous artists. They have food trucks. Look at this, a blueberry bannock from Tradish Food Truck. And they also have vendors, homemade hot sauce from Cedar Hot Sauce, freshly made this morning. And of course, they have musical performances, as you can see here on the stage right now, through today and into tomorrow. So this is the place to be at the PNE, just to stay cool. So as we head into the long weekend, this is what we can expect. Tomorrow we'll see temperatures between 23 and 27, a mix of sun and cloud on Sunday. Holiday Monday, we'll see back to seasonal temperatures, a few clouds and 22 degrees. So get outside and enjoy it, the unofficial end to summer.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Explore the endless possibilities at one of our 36 BC locations. Learn more at expediacruises.ca.
And I know, John, you love bannock. And I love bannock. This was absolutely delicious. And coming up in about 20 minutes, we're going to talk to Crystal Shawanda, Juno-winning artist, to talk about the Tattoos Festival that she'll be headlining. So very excited about that.
And that bannock does sound good. You can't go wrong with fried bread. We'll talk to you later, Anne.
Exactly.
More pushback against the BC billionaire trying to buy out the Bay's leases, and a battle over book banning in public schools is raging in Alberta.
Edmonton Public is clearly doing a little vicious compliance.
Why several award-winning literary books may be removed from Edmonton school libraries. The list is extensive. What the new provincial rules state. That's ahead. The BC billionaire, hoping to buy more than 24 leases of former Bay locations, is getting more pushback. Hudson's Bay landlords were back in court today, where they argued Ruby Lou doesn't have the cash, experience, or team in place to launch a new retailer. Lou wants to buy 25 leases for $69.1 million to open a new department store named after herself. The Bay hopes the money could help repay some of the roughly $1 billion it owes creditors. Alberta's new order to purge school libraries of sexually explicit content is creating a wave of controversy. It comes after Edmonton Public Schools announced more than 200 titles. Many of them literary classics are on a list for removal. CTV's Mark Villani has more.
Alberta's government is cracking down on what kids can or can't read at their school library this fall.
We are trying to take sexually explicit content out of elementary schools that is inappropriate for me to show on the television news at night.
A new ministerial order is focused on steering kindergarten to grade 12 kids away from what the UCP government considers inappropriate texts. That's prompted Edmonton Public Schools to create lists consisting of more than 200 books to remove. They feature world-renowned authors like Aldous Huxley, Margaret Atwood, even Judy Blume. The texts were narrowed into 3 categories. It includes materials with explicit content like Alice Walker's The Color Purple, books with non-explicit sexual content like 1984, along with non-sexual content, including teen favorites like The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins.
Edmonton Public is clearly doing a little vicious compliance.
Edmonton Public Schools chair says several excellent books will be removed from our shelves this fall. We encourage anyone who has a concern about a book being removed to contact the Minister of Education directly.
The real fundamental problem here is that decisions about what should end up on school library shelves needs to be left to trained educators and trained librarians.
And already authors are speaking their mind. Atwood posting sarcastically to social media for kids not to read Handmaid's Tale or else their hair will catch fire. American author Jodi Picoult, a frequent censorship target in her home country, also took issue, telling CTV book bans do not protect children, but instead remove tools to help them navigate an increasingly difficult world. Both Calgary's public and Catholic school districts confirm they will comply with the province's directive, but haven't come up with lists. Alberta's premier insists there's no provincial book ban. Her education minister says he wants to talk to the school boards about their selections.
I'm really curious to know what the province's process is going to be.
Academics say the censorship of certain texts take away the freedom for children to open their mind to new ideas.
When we see this kind of confusion resulting, I'm not surprised, but I'm certainly dismayed, and I'm deeply concerned for access to literature.
Mark Villani, CTV News, Calgary.
Smoke and mirrors in a jewelry store, a new kind of security designed to stop terrifying smash and grab robberies. Also ahead, a scary encounter off the coast of Nova Scotia, what two divers did when they saw a great white shark approaching them. That's next. A violent armed robbery at an Ontario jewelry store has prompted the business to step up its security measures. It recently installed a smoke screen system that can flood the shop with a dense fog. CTV's Alexandra Hollick has the details.
In a matter of seconds, a thick fog floods this Ancaster jewelry store. It's a taste of what could happen in the event of an armed robbery.
If the hold-up button is pushed, they automatically disperse for 30 seconds with a non-toxic water vapor.
Owner Jean-Pierre Verbunt installed the anti-theft measure after a violent smash and grab last December.
They did smash almost every case in the store. I spent the night in the hospital, got a CT scan, lots of damage to my face from hammers and punching.
The store's new system acts as smoke and mirrors, clouding criminals' vision and deterring them from finishing the job.
You can't see your hand in front of your face, so you can't steal what you can't see.
You just want to do anything you can to try and delay them and slow them down. It's not like we're trying to, incapacitate them or something. We just want to give the police time to get here.
The owner here at Ancaster Jewelers says he knows security systems won't put a stop to all armed robberies or guarantee it won't happen again. But he says he's hopeful the new measures will deter criminals from striking his store.
It's really to stop yourself from being the low-lying fruit and put yourself a little higher in the tree.
The device is often used in stores overseas, but since it came to Canada, it's billowed in popularity.
Jewelry stores, some higher-end retail, private residences, and then some retail applications where they're looking to protect specific assets.
The price for the added layer of protection starts at $1,500, but Verbunt says the smokescreen and security measures in general are worth every penny.
Show all the bad guys that we have this passive resistance that's going to hopefully stop you from even trying.
Alexandra Hollick, CTV News, Ancaster.
A close encounter off the coast of Nova Scotia as a scuba diver instructor and tourist came face to face with one of the ocean's most feared predators. They were diving at Fox Point Beach near Hubbard's when a great white shark suddenly appeared out of the murky water. Instead of bolting for the surface, the pair stayed calm and kneeled down in the water until it passed by. It's a move experts say is key when facing the apex predator, as most shark attacks happen close to the surface.
She came right up to us, just I could reach out and touch her. It was like a game of chicken, and then she veered away and disappeared into the murk and went back and then came right back again a second time. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience to see something like that, and both me and my customer plan now to get matching great white tattoos.
A terrifying but unforgettable moment, one both instructor and the tourist say they'll never forget. Prominent developer Westbank sells its share of the massive Sanok project by the Burrard Street Bridge. Who is now the part owner? Also ahead.
They have a tremendous amount of discretion at their disposal, and the law supports that.
There's been an increase in U.S. border agents searching Canadians' phones. What you should know about your digital footprint. That's ahead. Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar still trading for 72 cents to the American dollar. Oil was down 59 cents, closing the day at $64.01 a barrel. Gold gained nearly $42 on the day. The TSX ended the day higher, up 129 points, while the Dow Jones lost 92 points. Vancouver-based developer Westbank has sold its entire stake in the Squamish Nation's massive Sinnock housing project. A restructured partnership will see OpTrust share equal ownership in phases 1 and 2 of the multi-building development and give the nation 100% ownership in phases 3 and 4. The First Nation is calling the move an unprecedented step towards self-sufficiency. The project broke ground in 2022 at the south end of the Burrard Bridge, which is the site of an ancient Squamish village. 3 of the 11 planned residential towers are expected to open next year. People on a whale-watching tour in California got a very special visit from another marine mammal. A stampede of more than 100 dolphins was spotted racing alongside their vessel just off the coastline from Newport Beach. Some of the dolphins launched themselves more than 10 feet into the air. Passengers say they were absolutely thrilled by the energetic display. An incredible video. I've seen video of that happening in BC. One day we may be lucky to witness something like that.
I've given up, Mijang. I don't think I'm ever going to. So I'll just keep on watching the videos that we show here on the news. That's the only way I'll be able to. But amazing there. And if you're not out on the water, you're at the PNE. Amazing night tonight. It's the first day of a 2-day festival called the Tattoos Festival, celebrating Indigenous artists and performers and vendors. So we're seeing that on stage right now. And we'll get more into that a little bit later. But first, let's take a look at our forecast, starting off with our almanac. Our high didn't update. We saw a high of 25 degrees today, well above the seasonal average of 22 degrees. And in regards to rainfall, we saw way more than the seasonal average at 65.9 millimeters of rain. We won't see any more rain to finish off August, unfortunately, but we definitely need it. Ridge of high pressure will continue to dominate the province, and it'll continue to keep things very dry as we head into the new month of September. For the North Island, overcast skies to Port Hardy at 18 degrees. Campbell River and Comox, we're looking at 25 degrees under a mix of sun and cloud. For the South Island, mostly cloudy skies for Tofino. You'll see 18 degrees. A few clouds for Port Alberni and Victoria. Temperatures between 22 and 29 in Nanaimo and Southern Gulf Islands. You'll enjoy mostly sunny skies to kick off the Labor Day long weekend. Temperatures between 22 and 25. 25 degrees for the Sunshine Coast. Warm up the Sea to Sky Highway under mostly sunny skies in 28 degrees. And for us across the Lower Mainland, mostly sunny skies with temperatures between 23 degrees near the water, 27 degrees further inland. Heading into Sunday and Monday, a mix of sun and cloud, temperatures between 22 and 23. And then the first day back to school, it's going to heat up. 24 degrees near the water, 29 degrees inland. And it stays hot for the rest of the work week as well, and school week. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we'll see temperatures between 29 and 31 degrees inland. Near the water, we'll see temperatures between 24 and 25 degrees. CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So as I mentioned earlier, the Tattoos Festival takes place right now at the PNE and will continue into tomorrow. Joining me now is Juno Award-winning artist Crystal Shawanda. You're headlining tonight, so for the people who don't know, what is the Tattoos Festival about?
This festival is all about celebrating Indigenous people. So it's very awesome because they bring in all different genres, styles, contemporary, traditional, and everything in between.
And how do you feel about being part of this?
I'm excited and very proud and honored. You know, I represent from the contemporary side, mainstream music, and I'm just really happy to be here.
And we're happy you're here as well. And it's a generational thing because you're bringing your daughter on stage.
Yes, absolutely. Our daughter, my husband is my guitar player, and our daughter joins us on stage. We do a duet together. We do my classic song, You Can Let Go, together, and then she dances around and plays tambourine.
Amazing. So definitely a must-see show. Just like on stage right now, she has a 5-year-old son, so we can't wait to see you on stage. And if you're here at the PNE, make sure you come to the Freedom Mobile Stage Tattoos Festival on right now, headlining tonight at 8 o'clock, and it'll continue into tomorrow as well. And the best part, Mijung, you're in the shade, so you get to stay out of the heat.
Yeah, contrary to popular belief, there is shade at the PNE in places where you can cool down.
Yes.
All right. Thanks a lot, Anne. Well, if you're traveling across the border, you should probably be prepared to have your cell phone searched. As CTV's Travis Fortnum reports, it's happening increasingly often.
Crossing into the U.S. has long been a Windsor-Detroit convenience, but lately some Canadians are more cautious.
I'm a frequent traveler to the United States. I haven't noticed any significant change in how officers deal with Canadians.
Immigration lawyer Eddie Kadri says what has travelers talking is the rise in device searches. U.S. Customs and Border Protection data show officers searched nearly 15,000 phones and laptops between April and July, the busiest stretch since 2018, though the agency says such searches are still rare. And it is totally within their power to ask to see your phone.
They have a tremendous amount of discretion at their disposal, and the law supports that.
Kadri says you need to decide before leaving home if you're comfortable with the type of questions and searches border agents are authorized to conduct.
It really isn't the time or place to have that at the port of entry when you're seeking entry. And certainly you can, but you can't expect it to go well for you at that point.
Some Canadians report being turned away because of politically charged posts online. CTV tech analyst Carmi Levy says you need a strategy before you cross. One option, deleting social media or messaging apps, then reinstalling them after your trip.
However, there also is the very real risk that if none of these apps are on your phone and your phone is essentially blank or bare, that might arouse suspicion when you cross the border, and that might prompt additional questions.
And deleting an app doesn't guarantee your posts or messages are gone.
It's very easy to bypass the limitations of removing your data from your phone because border officials certainly have other tools at their disposal.
Levy adds you could leave your phone at home or travel with a burner, but the best advice remains the same. Be mindful of your digital footprint.
This kind of guidance will benefit us regardless of what's happening politically at the time.
And while the legal advice is to be prepared, Kadri says don't let fear keep you from crossing.
By and large, the men and women who work at the ports of entry between Canada and the United States on the American side, they're good people just trying to do their job.
Travis Fortnum, CTV News.
A massive Japanese market, a Latin American festival, and a celebration at Van Dusen Gardens. Your Friday feel-goods are next. Plus, in memory, Adam finds out the unexpected reason an 8-year-old is selling lemonade. Next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. The hit horror movie Weapons could retake the top spot at the box office this weekend, but it's got some competition in the new crime thriller Caught Stealing.
These guys you messed up with, they're scary monsters.
The Darren Aronofsky flick hits theaters today with a star-studded cast, including Austin Butler, Zoe Kravitz, and Bad Bunny. K-pop Demon Hunters knocked Weapons off its winning streak last weekend during its exclusive 2-day theatrical release. Freakier Friday is expected to take third spot over the long weekend.
The place where you belong.
Cineplex is offering moviegoers a special discount this long weekend. On Saturday and Sunday, the movie theater giant is offering $5 general admission across the province. You can get discounted snacks too. A small popcorn will cost $5. That's a good deal. And in case you guys are wondering, yes, we are wearing the same dress. We happen to own the same one. I was just too lazy to change after I saw Mary wearing it, so hey.
No, I think it's good that we're wearing the same dress on my last day. It's a monumental moment.
Yes, it's a tribute to you, Mary. Okay, well, it's time for Friday Feel Goods, a weekly roundup of unique events happening in Metro Vancouver. Here are 3 things worth checking out. One of the largest Japanese festivals in Canada is returning to Burnaby this weekend. Nikkei Matsuri aims to preserve and share the culture of Japanese Canadians through music, food, and traditions. Visitors can also rent traditional clothing, browse for treasures at the otakara or anime markets, and check out some martial arts demonstrations.
And if you missed Carnival del Sol in Vancouver, the Latin American Cultural Festival is hitting the road. Carnivalito is coming to Douglas Park in Langley on Saturday. A full day of live music and dancing is planned, along with artisan vendors, kids' activities, and food from across Latin America. That looks great.
And perfect weather. This long weekend is going to be awesome for whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Okay, Van Dusen is honoring its roots this Saturday as the Botanical Garden celebrates its 50th anniversary. Guests of all ages are invited to explore 55 acres of vibrant plant collections and connect with other nature enthusiasts. The celebration will also include historic tours, hands-on workshops, and live entertainment on the Great Lawn. And if you have any events you'd like us to highlight, email your tips to ctvfeelgoods@ctv.ca. And as I mentioned, I was wearing this dress as a tribute to you, Mary, because I know you have the same one, but it is a sad note for us at CTV. This is Mary's last day. Mary, tonight is your last 11:30 show before you move on to a new chapter. So on behalf of everyone here at CTV, it's been a pleasure to work with you. You're a great journalist and just fun to be with. So all the best in your next chapter.
Thank you, Mi-jung. Yeah, it hasn't really hit me yet, but I came to the station almost 5 years ago. I started on weekends before moving to late night. It's been an incredible ride. The team here is amazing, and it's just time to spend more time with my family and be with my daughter in the evenings.
Yeah, for sure. But before you can do that, you do have one more show. So
I do.
Yeah, what's coming up tonight?
Well, it seems everyone is going on strike, Mi-jung. Hello, ferry workers may be next, as the union has issued a strike vote. The BC Ferry and Marine Workers Union says after nearly a year of waiting for an agreement, the workers have been left with no choice. We'll have more details at 11:30. Mi-jung.
All right, thanks, Mary. A lemonade stand is a fun way for young entrepreneurs to make some money during the summer. But as Adam found out, one Saanich Boys stand had a much bigger purpose on this Encore Sawatsky sign-off.
After months of asking his mom,
"Can I have a lemonade stand?"
and her saying just wait till after winter,
"It's too cold outside."
Anders Yee finally got the go-ahead to set up his stand.
"If you're making pink lemonade, you also add cranberry juice."
But rather than expressing some sort of entrepreneurial spirit,
He goes, "I want to raise money for charity."
the 8-year-old was wanting some way to give back.
"Because I want to help other people."
Susanna Yee says her son has benefited from the Canucks Autism Network because he's on the spectrum, and the Victoria Hospitals Foundation because he spent 35 days in the NICU.
There's not enough money to give back.
Which is why, after donating $21 from his stand over spring break, Anders asked his mom if he could raise even more this summer.
I want to save a life.
You wanted to save a life? You see, this week marks a year since Anders witnessed the loss of his dad's life from a brain aneurysm.
I thought doing a stand in memory of his dad is a way of the healing process.
Susanna says Kevin was always giving to others, and supporting their boy's inherent desire to be generous is a way of keeping that legacy alive.
We all go through a grieving period, but at the same time, you've got to continue to live.
So the little boy set a big goal of $100.
Wow. Very unexpected.
Before raising more than $1,000.
I'm very impressed about what happened.
But then, after his story was broadcast across the country, viewers were inspired to donate 1,000 more. And just last week, another 1,000, bringing Anders' total to more than $3,200.
I'm feeling proud. I saved a lot of lives.
Which is why Anders is now planning to sell lemonade in honor of his dad every year.
I know my husband is looking down and he's smiling down on us and saying, good job.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Saanich.
Wow, that was such a beautiful story. I'm tearing up.
He's a really special kid. If you can raise your kid to be that giving, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to the PNE and people are going to be rushing to the PNE this weekend. Of course, it's the last weekend before school.
Yes, that's right, and it's going to be a beautiful weekend and a hungry weekend for a lot of people. So we've been talking about this all week. It is the apple crumble pierogi, topped off with cinnamon toast crunch. It's my dessert dinner tonight, and have a good long weekend to everybody.
Oh, that looks good. She's getting her fill of good food there. Okay, thank you for joining us, and join Mary tonight for her final CTV News at 11:30. It's been great having you here, Mary.
Thank you, Jen.
Good night.